my company vision is every woman has a financial ability to leave any job or relationship is not in her best interest. And I really mean every woman.
Yeah.
I'll start working with the women with the professional women who are handcuffed to their job because they have no other streams of income. And I have a foundation that once we get our company really running, going, we're going to be able to help women, lower income women, get education, entrepreneur opportunities, and really just help both ends of the spectrum. When women have freedom, I'm kind of scared of what the world's going to look like in a good way. In a good way.
Hey. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwan Twyford. I'm America's most sought after real estate investor. And do I have such a good show for you today? As you can see, my guest is a woman. And so she is today's badass boss babe. So we are going to find out about Felecia and what she does and how she can help you accomplish your goals and dreams too. So as always, the motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that's something that resonates with you, then you're at the right place. You're at the right time, and we are your chicks for the day. So go to Dwanderful, Dwanderful, Dwanderful.com, opt in. There's Flip Your Way to a Fortune. It's a free ebook. It's actually very good and very detailed. Talk to you about how to wholesale property and, dip your toe into the real estate investing waters. So, Felecia, how are you today? You're my badass boss babe.
I love it. Thanks, Dwan. Dwan, like Swan, just get it out. Don't try to put too much into that.
We talked about it now. We talked about too much. So we actually like to start off having a toast. So I think we're both having water, or no, what are you having again?
It's a sparkling water, grapefruit sparkling water. So it looks a little icky, but
sounds yummy.
it is
Cheers
water.
To you. Everybody watching, get your drink out. Cheers. And then y'all know we just take a deep breath. We give ourselves a little stretch. We shake off whatever we got going on, so you can buckle in and have some fun with us today. I'm super excited to interview Felecia. This is my first time meeting her. So I'm so excited to see what you got going on there, girl. So basically, first of all, welcome to the show. I appreciate your time and being here. And, I realize time is our most valuable asset. So I appreciate anyone that comes and spends some time with us. So thank you for that first. Secondly, what I like to do is have you tell us who you are, what you do in like a couple sentences, just a short version, and how we can reach you. And then I'm going to ask you a bunch of really fun questions, and we're just going to have a talk like this, two girls hanging out and getting to know each other.
Awesome. Thank you. 2 sentences. Okay. Felecia Froe. I am a physician, a urologist, for a little bit under 30 years, I think. I haven't counted the time. I started my life and my career as, like I said, a physician, and over 20 years or so have been doing real estate investing, which got me to my company, Money with Mission. You can reach me. Just go to your information. We have a free resource for you there, Build Resilient Wealth. And you can book a call with me. I'm trying to think. I think you can email me from there too.
What? Now
you can't get me from there, go moneywithmission.com.
Moneywithmission.com. I like that. Moneywithmission.com. Okay. So they can reach you there. Are you on like Facebook and Instagram, all the stuff?
All those places is Money with Mission.
Money with Mission. Okay. So all social media, just check out Money with Mission, go to moneywithmission.com. And so you were a urologist.
Yes.
And now you are a real estate investor.
Yes. I am still a urologist. My side hustle is urology. My main deal is Money with Mission and helping professional women, connecting them with projects that I vetted, sponsors that I've vetted, helping them get multiple streams of income.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So do you mind if I ask how old you are?
Yeah, you can ask me.
How old are you? So folks, it appears that both of us are having a little issue with our screens freezing.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
okay. Just say it back one more time.
I am 62.
62. All right. You're right there with me. I'm 64. So sometimes, the screens will freeze when we're talking, but I think when they record, I think they come out okay.
I'm going to time out and hook to my router and see if that does better.
Yep. Don't do it. That happens sometimes. I've had people's computers go dead. My computer's gone dead because I forgot to charge it. I've had thunderstorms and the power's gone out, like all this stuff. And we just keep rolling with it because as a real estate investor, folks, that's exactly what you have to do. You got to just kind of roll with the punches. Stuff's going to happen all the time. And if you can't think on your feet and you just can't keep rolling, you're going to struggle as an investor. That I can attest to. So investing is a lot of thinking on your feet. It's a lot of planning, but it's also a lot of thinking on your feet. We got that router plugged in.
Improvisation is the name of the game.
It really is.
I did, and
it really is. I tell people all the time.
Putting all my other.
People get so upset. I'm like, hey, listen, it's all good. We're investors. That's what we do. We roll with the punches. Something happens. It's not the end of the world. Ain't no big thing. And we just keep going. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to find out, first of all, when you were like 13, 14, like, the preteen, the teen, the early teen, where were you living and what were you doing?
At that age, I lived in Terre Haute, Indiana. We had just moved there. We moved there when I was in the 3rd grade from Tuskegee, Alabama, where I was born. And anybody not looking, I am a Black person. And in that time of our country, we're not welcome in that neighborhood. So I had a lot of struggles with both races, actually, whites and Blacks in Terre Haute, Indiana. Whites didn't like me because I lived in their neighborhood. Blacks didn't like me because I didn't live in their neighborhood. And it was an interesting time for me.
I bet it was. And so when you were that age, were you working? Were you the top of your class? Were you doing side jobs? What were you doing?
Nah, I was thinking about nothing but going to school. So It was all about, I guess 13-year-olds, about 7th grade or so. I was in sports. So we hadn't even thought about.
You hadn't thought about any of that stuff yet.
Did you hear me? No?
Yeah, some of it. I usually whenever our computer's freezing, it's mine because I'm in the mountains. Where are you right now?
I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, okay. So I don't know. If it, the thing is when it pauses, I think it still records okay. So I feel like we'll still be good.
If not, we'll come back and do it again.
That's right, girl. That's right. That's we're not gonna let a little bit of internet slow us girls down.
Nope.
So, that is true though. Back in I was born in 59 and I lived in my family's in Tennessee and we lived like in the country. Like we had 10 acres and we had a horse and a pig and a cow and a chicken and all the stuff. So I was not really exposed to racism type stuff because I lived in such a tiny, like a dot of a town. And we only, still to this day, just have one little traffic light. Like that was it, just like a dot on a map. But as I got older and got into my 20s, I was like, wow, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Yes.
My parents and their parents all were very, very educated through college, everything. So as I said, all they knew is go to college, and that and the more education you had, the better off you would do. That was just the mantra at that time.
Yeah. And you became a doctor, no less. So that's awesome. You know, it's
Yes.
funny because
Yes.
I was the same age. I'm 64, so I was about the same age. Now, we lived in Ohio. I lived in Dayton, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And that's where all the General Motors car factories and like all the stuff was. So no one ever told me, get out of high school, go to college. It was like, get out of high school, get married, have babies, work at the factory,
Mm-hmm.
retire when you're 60 and work for the man.
Yeah.
Like that's all I ever heard my whole life. And no one ever said, go to school, get an education, do anything. It was like, get married, have kids, work at a factory. And when you're 60, you'll be done. And it's
Yeah.
like, so I did actually work in a factory for like 2 weeks. And I thought, what the hell? Why would someone want me to do this? This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I was like praying for death every day. So it's like, Kelly, so it is important the things that your parents teach you as you grow up, because that's kind of what you do. So education's great. So then you're like so I'm going to assume when you're in your 20s or so, you're in school.
Yes. Yes. I finished residency, I don't know, like late 20s, early 30s. I can't really. Yeah, it was my first child was born when I was still a resident. I was 30. So I got married at 29. She was born when I was 30. And so I was still in residency. So early 30s, I finished and started my first practice.
Yeah, it's funny. I got married at 29, had my daughter at 30. Same thing. Same thing. And I was not an investor yet. I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and like my world blew up on me, and that became an investor. So now you're being a doctor, clearly successful, doing well, breaking all the racial barriers. You're out there making stuff happen. Where along the way did you say, like, you know what? I want to get into real estate investing? Because that seems like I met a lot of doctors who do real estate investing now, but they do just put up the money part of it, not like in it. But with money and with mission, I'm assuming that you're actually in it.
Yeah, that is true. And I can't say that from medicine, I was 5 years in, I got this whisper that this isn't the last thing you're going to do. So I had just started my practice. I had 5-figure debt. I got this whisper that this isn't the last thing you're ever going to do. And it was kind of like for me, I'm in this thing, you've reached this goal, you're supposed to be happy. And I was in this, is this all there is? And then this whisper came, yeah, this is not all there is. You got more to do. I didn't know what that meant. It was actually very, very scary, realizing all the things I had just gone through to get to where I am. So it took a while longer for me to get to real estate. My first foray was not even where I realized it was a real estate deal, was when I bought a building with a bunch of other women physicians to practice in. And I didn't even think of that as investing. It was just.
So you guys bought a commercial building and everyone had a practice in the building?
Mm-hmm. We
so
built a building.
You started out commercial and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. Exactly. Exactly. And one of the women involved in that gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which we just talked about money on a regular basis, which was actually one of the first times with anybody that I really talked about money. You know, that money just is like one of those subjects people do not talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It was then the beginning of the end as far as me getting into real estate investing. I didn't know medicine was going to become a side hustle at that point. It was good to me. I thought I would probably end up actually buying single family houses, because that's all I could see at that point, was being a landlord.
Right.
Friends helped me get into that, get started. We bought 18 houses in a short amount of time, right before 2008, 2009. And then 2008, 2009 happened, and all that, we learned so much of what we didn't know in that time.
Oh man, I know. That was really hard. I mean, that was hard on me, and I knew the crash was coming. And luckily I'd already been investing, well, not long, but like close to a decade. And it's like, man, when that happened, it was so much worse than even I thought it would be. And I was prepared. I had everything paid for. I refinanced a couple things. I sold some things off. I was like, okay, I'm going to be ready for this big crash. And it was still like just monumental.
Good job. Yep. I was not right. I had no idea. It was, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know.
And got knocked down pretty hard. Financially, emotionally, the whole thing was just not good. And then decided it wasn't real estate that was the problem. It was my lack of knowledge and understanding that was the problem. And made a few sacrifices. I was living in Hawaii at the time, so I loved Hawaii. I
Oh,
loved the ocean, and decided I had to leave to be able to get back into real estate.
oh gosh, you'd have to pry my dead cold fingers out of Hawaii. That's my favorite place. Honestly, that's like my favorite place on earth. Is I don't know. When you're in Hawaii, there's something in the air. You just feel like
Yeah,
this is it.
I
This
agree.
is it. I love it
I
there.
agree. I agree.
I love it there. But we do go. That's probably the number one place that we visit when we go on just like a vacation in the States is we go to Hawaii. Yeah, I can never get tired of Hawaii. But I get it. Real estate in Hawaii, it's a little tougher for sure because you're limited by the islands and the people, and you're unlimited.
Well, I wasn't, well, all the properties we own are in the Midwest. We're in the Midwest. And
Mhm.
even when I was in Hawaii and thinking about getting back in, it wasn't that I was thinking about buying in Hawaii. It was just everything is so far away, and
Yeah.
realizing that I really needed to get a team together, understand a bunch of stuff that I didn't really get before. I didn't feel like I could do it from Hawaii.
Yeah.
So
No,
came
we live
back to the
in
mainland.
Colorado, and we buy all of our rentals in Clinton, Iowa.
Hmm.
So all my buildings, all my stuff, everything's in Iowa because Denver, I mean, shoot, a house that's in like the dead of the hood's $550,000.
Yeah.
It's like you
Yep.
can't make any money on that.
Yep. Yep. One of my mentors had said, live where you want to live, invest where the numbers make sense. Just don't even think if it makes no sense where you are. So I lived in California, and I have all these friends that live in California and want to invest in California. And it's like, you can invest for appreciation, maybe, but that's a gamble. If you're investing
Yes.
for cash flow, that's not going to happen in California.
No, no, I have so many people that are like, oh, that, I train people. And like, oh, I want to invest in California. I'm like, but if you want long term, find someplace else. Like, that's just not the place. Like, find another city. So when you say you invest in the Midwest, where do you typically invest?
So my properties, I have single family houses and a residential assisted living home in the Kansas City, Missouri metropolitan area is where
Oh,
all the
that's
stuff
nice.
is. Now I live in Tulsa, and we opened the first grocery store.
So you're in Tulsa. And tell me about
Or full service.
your grocery store.
So the grocery store is, like I said, is our full service grocery store, the first full service grocery store in North Tulsa in over 10 years. We got that going after we came here actually to do an indoor controlled farm, and then the city asked us if we could do a grocery store in addition. We got the grocery store, but not the indoor controlled farm. Anyway, I was brought into this group to raise the money. Got the grocery store up and running. The reason they needed a grocery store, number one, they didn't have one. Number two, there had been a study that showed the people of North Tulsa live 11 years less than the people in the rest of Tulsa, which multifactorial.
Wow.
But when you can't have access, or you don't have access to healthy food, it's a problem.
It is a problem.
So that makes me very proud that we got that store opened. There was a whole bunch of partnership stuff around that, and which ultimately ended up with me not owning it anymore.
Mhm.
But I still helped get it here. So that's
Oh, so you are doing single family rentals. You said you have a senior living
we have a residential assisted living home that we own the building and are renting the space to operator. Mm-hmm.
and a grocery store. You are like all over. You're awesome.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about awesome, but I'd like to do.
No, that's so amazing though, doing things for the community because you know what? These little towns, like in the Midwest, even like we buy in the Midwest too, the little towns really they don't get all the stuff. They don't get the stores and the shops and the food, and they don't even get like the little farmers markets. And the people that live more rural really are just. I think my family's in Tennessee, and they lived really rural. And I remember my grandparents didn't even have indoor plumbing until I was 16 years old.
Hmm.
I was like, who doesn't have indoor plumbing? Because I'm living in the city, and then I go to my grandma's. It's like, oh my god, why is the toilet out in the back field? Why is that? But that little town's still small, and it's still just very much like that. It's just like a time stood still there.
Yeah. How big is Clinton?
Oh gosh, you know what? I should know. I think Clinton's about 30,000 people ish or something. I should know that. And I normally do know that, but I don't know right off the top of my head. But Clinton is on the river. It's on the Mississippi River. Like Iowa's here and Illinois is across the bridge. So it's right
Yeah.
there. And my husband's from there. And we kept going back to all these high school reunions. And I was like, that downtown needs some love. That downtown's been the same for 15 straight years. And so finally we're like, you know what? We're going to buy a building. We're going to try and like rejuvenate the downtown. And when you interview me, I'll tell you all about it. But it's turned into like this little mecca. And I'm like, we helped start that. That is so awesome. And bringing jobs. And there's been a couple apartment buildings that were built. And we turned some of our stuff into apartments. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel really lucky to have been able to help people have like some better housing and just some beautiful stores down there. Like, I don't know, it just makes you feel really good about yourself.
Yes, 100%. That's one of my next projects we're looking at is low income and affordable housing developments. And for me, it's about whatever the investment is. I want my investors to have a return, and I want them to invest in something that's going to have an impact in that community. So those are, I just want to do them together. Yes, you can do them separately, make your money, and then give it away. But I just think it's really possible to do them together, and we can make that big of an impact right away.
It does. All my single family homes all are Section 8. And I do like, I fence the yard and I give them a really nice fenced in yard. I say, hey, you guys can have a pet. There's a fenced in yard so your kids don't run out into the street.
Yeah.
And I do all these nice things like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm giving, because I was a single mom and I went through all the struggles by myself. And I feel, and you know, most of the Section 8 people, not all, but most are women. And I always feel like, hey, listen, I was in your shoes, like literally in your shoes with the welfare card and the whole thing. And I just feel really good about being able to provide like a really nice place, you know, for somebody.
100% agree. I just got an inspection for one of my properties in Kansas City, and there were so many things. I'm like, oh my gosh, how is this person living in this house? And they didn't tell us. I'm like, fix this stuff. The roof was leaking somewhere. The carpet was wet somewhere. The stuff. It's like, I felt so bad. Like, I feel like, I'm like, no, this is 100% not acceptable. Let's get this fixed.
Well, the nice thing about Section 8 is, they do make you keep your places nice.
Yeah.
And really safe for the children and all the stuff. So, the Section 8 was designed for like the people that are on it is they can go to college and they have all their rent and their bills paid, and then they get a degree. And then when they get working, the government takes like this much of their check and matches it. And the idea is they go to school, they get a degree, the government matches this. So when they have enough saved, they buy their own house. They get an FHA loan. So a few of the girls that lived at my houses did the whole thing. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And they're like, yeah, but we want to buy this house. I was like, this house, my rental. And the first time it happened, I was like, oh, Jackie, no, girl. And she's like, but Miss Dawn, I love this house. And I plant the flowers, they do the stuff and da-da-da. And I was like, oh, and it never occurred to me they didn't want to buy my house.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? You did exactly what you're supposed to do. You've got a degree. You've got 3 amazing kids. This house, I know you love it. So I'm going to get it appraised and I'll sell it to a little bit below appraisal. And so I ended up losing a bunch of my rentals because they wanted to buy the house they were in. So I was like, but it's okay because, I feel good about that because I helped someone through all that darkness. And then they end up owning a really nice house because my houses are all really nice.
Imagine what that feels like for her.
Yeah.
For that person is like, now I'm a homeowner. Now I accomplished this from wherever I was to get to here. Yep. And you helped some. She did a lot. She did most of, you know what I mean? We just give each other a hand. We just have to give each other a hand.
Yeah. I find myself always leaning towards like wanting to help the women because I was, married 29, baby at 30, and 8 months later, my husband took off. So I was a broke single mom that had no job and had been told to work in a factory. So now I'm like, anything I can do to help other women, just please tell me how I can help you get on the other side of the fence with the money and stuff. So I love that you do that because, it's like someone's got to have a heart for everybody.
Yeah. My company vision is every woman has a financial ability to leave any job or relationship is not in her best interest. And I really mean every woman.
Yeah.
I'll start working with the women with the professional women who are handcuffed to their job because they have no other streams of income. And I have a foundation that once we get our company really running, going, we're going to be able to help women, lower income women, get education, entrepreneur opportunities, and really just help both ends of the spectrum. When women have freedom, I'm kind of scared of what the world's going to look like in a good way. In a good way.
I know. It's funny. I interviewed with someone this week and he's like, what do you think? Why do you think there are more female entrepreneurs? And I said, honestly, I mean, I don't know. This is like at my age group. I think women are started off when you read Cinderella, like grow up and get married and marry the handsome prince and da 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 da, and then like stay in a relationship, it's good or bad, like get married. And so I just don't think in general. I mean, if you took all the entrepreneurs that own business in the United States, I bet you only 10% of them are women.
I don't know the statistic.
If even.
I don't
There's
know.
a lot of women in the workforce, but like
Yeah.
business owners, I don't meet that many business owners, as many as I do men. Now I meet a lot in real estate, but it's like, I don't know. And so this guy was asking me, I'm like, I really don't know truly. I think a lot of women are just encouraged, like, hey, if you go to college, become a nurse or a school teacher or da 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 da, and not like, hey, go out there and start a business and conquer the world. I don't think that women are, I don't know. I mean, in my spectrum of my family, that was never even a conversation.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not a conversation. And then there's been studies that show that we have less confidence when it comes to, number one, finances, but also we're more risk averse. In other words, when you start thinking about starting your own business, there's some scariness involved with that. And then we have all the whatever we were taught and told as kids that comes up. And then you have, I heard you talking to one of your guests on another show about how, you start telling your family what you're going to do and your family then gets scared for you, even though that's not what comes out. It comes out like, why would you do that? You have this great job. You're going to do it. All that stuff that starts happening. And then you're like, okay, well, that's just a lot to overcome.
It is.
So we stay where we are. I know I talked to so many women physicians, though, that are not happy with what they're doing. They're just not happy. You can read the statistics about burnout. You can read the statistics about how many people are leaving medicine. Medicine has a problem, and it's not just insurance. We're going to lose a lot of doctors because they can't tolerate it, or the doctors that we have. Me, one of those is going to be having other streams of income so that you can work. You have options of how do you work. It's not just from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or whatever your hours are. You can say, today I'm not going to go, or I'm taking 6 months off because I need to just get myself together, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like, I know nothing about the medical field, but having just like my sister had breast cancer and so I took care of her and sadly she passed. And my husband had this crazy blood disease, and all last year we lived in like this little isolated bubble because he had a complete bone marrow and stem cell transplant.
You're really frozen.
Am I frozen now? We are both just having trouble with the internet today. Am I froze? I see myself moving. I see you and me both moving. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm on my right internet. Yeah. I see you moving. So are we froze or are we just
gonna? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. No, you were frozen for a while, and it was really garbly for a while.
Well, we're gonna have to hope that this turns out and it's awesome. And if it's not awesome, we'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
So I can definitely see the burnout being in the medical field. It's really high stress, man. What you all do is really high stress there.
And I think, yes, it is. And then doing all the other things we do as women, being a mom, being a wife, being a partner, all those things. it just takes a lot. It's a
It takes a
toll.
lot. I tell you, I always tell people, I mean, people just don't realize how much work it is to be a woman, because we do all those things, but then somewhere it's still like, but we're still supposed to come home and do all this other stuff. So when I first started making money, the first person I hired was a housekeeper.
Yep.
Paid
Yep.
my house, did my grocery shopping, did my laundry, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am living high and mighty right now. I've got a housekeeper. That was the first thing I hired, and I thought, this is it. I have reached the pinnacle. I have a person that cleans and cooks and puts food in the fridge and does my laundry and drops off my dry cleaning. I was like, oh, this is as good as it gets right here.
Life is good.
And now I'm just like, nah, I need all those people for that, for me to enjoy the things I want to do.
I agree 100%. Do you remember the commercial?
Which one?
It was the one, do you remember that commercial where the woman's on, it's just like, seems like I just remember this woman with a frying pan in her hand, and she's talking about, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never let you forget you're a man.
Yeah, like, isn't that a song? I'm a woman, WOMAN. That's a song, right?
That is a song. That is a song.
Who sings that song?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, now I'm going to have to look it up. I know all the
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
I have 2 daughters, and I said, listen, I'm just going to say right now, a man is not a plan. So I don't care what you do in your life. I don't care if you go to school, don't go to school, become an investor, whatever you do, a man is not a plan. Do not get married and expect a man to take care of you, because that's just not how things work anymore.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Do whatever you want, but you're going to be independent. You're going to be able to earn your own bread and earn your own way. And then, if you want to do all those things, that's great. But don't sink all the eggs into a basket.
I agree. I agree. And the same thing with investing. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. All these women with all their money in the stock market.
Oh, I know. And, I tell people that too. It's like, have some rentals, have some commercial, maybe have some storage, like whatever. Just have a few, all, because, if you have everything in just one thing, and like 2008, like a giant crash comes, you can lose all your stuff in just one big crash.
Yep.
By being, all in like that. But I was like that too. I had just wholesaling of rentals forever. And then we started doing some commercial. And as we started doing, I was like, oh, I really like this. And now we're fixing this town. Like, hey, this is really fun. Like, this is new and fun and challenging. And then people say, well, what if the town doesn't come back around? What if it just stays like it is? You're going to spend all your time and effort. And I was like, no, because I'm putting my Midas touch on it. I'm not going to allow that to happen. So, and even my parents, my parents, I'm so lucky my parents are still alive. Like, you guys can't rehab a whole town. And I was like, but why?
They're doing it in Laurel, Mississippi. That's right. And they're doing it in Laurel, Mississippi. They're rejuvenating the town. You guys are going to be the next HGTV stars.
I know they are doing it. It's like, hey, I just feel like we can do whatever we want. We just have to. It's nice to have other women in business that we all talk and communicate with, because we really do empower each other.
I agree 100%.
I was investing for like a decade, and I bought a beautiful house on the lake in Florida by the beach. My dad's like, when are you going to get a real job? Like, you see where I'm living? I have a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just gotta love them. It's like, I gotta love you, but it's like, come on, man. I have a job. So now you are doing so many great things. You've got commercial buildings, you've got the senior living, you have a full service grocery store, you've got single family homes. So where do you see yourself? Like, what is the vision at this point to keep doing what?
Still the social impact investing in businesses and real estate. So I'm looking to partner with developers for the low income housing, affordable housing combination units. I'm meeting so many people in different countries in Africa who are looking to increase their exports, increasing their actually sustainability to be able to just sustain themselves in their villages. So it's just like so many things are opening up. I have no idea what's going to happen, and I'm very open to any of that stuff. It's just like, what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
People keep asking.
when you get rolling, God just opens a lot of doors,
It just opens. I agree. Just put
So,
yourself out there to do the thing. It's like, this is what I want. These are the people I want in my life, and they start coming.
yeah, they do. Yeah, if someone would even said 5 years ago, "Hey, you're going to be working on 20 buildings in a town," I'd been like, "No, I'm definitely not going to be doing that." And then now I'm like, "Oh my God, I got all this stuff. It's so great." And so, yeah, it is funny. It is funny how things like, even if someone would have told me decades ago I'd be a public speaker, it's like, oh, I'm way too shy. There's no chance that's ever going to happen. I was really like that painfully shy. If you talked to me in high school, my face would just turn blood red,
Huh.
And now I can talk in front of anybody. And if someone would even told me even a couple of 20 years ago, I'd be like, no, definitely not going to be happening for me. I'm going
I
to
just
invest and that's it. And now I'm just like all over the place. So it is funny how God just gives you grace for more things and opens more doors, and you just keep stepping through those
just keep
doors.
stepping through. Yep, just
And
keep
you keep
stepping through.
stepping through. It's like, oh, well, there's another one. There's another one. And as long as you just keep stepping through and recognizing when things are opportunities.
Yep.
The whole
Don't let the
world.
fear stop you, because you're going to be scared right before you go through every single door. At least I have been. It's like,
Oh, me
I don't
too.
know what's over there, but okay, it's open. I'm going through. I got my first international speaking. I just came back from Cancun, where I gave a talk on actually resources and resourcefulness, which was super fun. A week in Cancun with an organization and getting to give a talk. My daughter came. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. So you are now the international
Call
Felecia Froe,
myself an
MD,
international speaker.
international investor
That's
and
right.
speaker. That is so. But did you ever think 20 years ago that you'd be saying that?
No, heck no. Heck no. No.
I know. That's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. That makes you officially international. So that's even better. So if someone was in any shoes, like let's just talk about women for a minute. If there was a woman out there, say 30, like you got married and had a baby, we were the same exact age when we had our kids. So you run across a 30-year-old person, she's like, "Hey, I would like to maybe try to start a business or something." What kind of advice would you say, like, these are some things you could do to prepare yourself, or how would you help them or advise them to maybe open a door or figure out how to open a door?
So number one, I give my phone number. Number two, so you can be open to, I'm open to mentor, talk to anyone in those shoes. The biggest thing is persistence. It's going to be difficult, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be challenging, but the biggest thing is to be persistent. Keep going. Just what we talked about. Every time a door opens, walk through that door. You might turn around and it's like, oh, this is not the right room. But now you got to keep going, because you're in that room, and you are there for some reason to learn something, whether you learn it in a pleasurable way or you learn it in a painful way.
Ah,
We learn something
yeah,
every
we
single
do.
step.
I tell everyone, you learn from mistakes or mentors.
Yep.
Mentors are cheaper. Unfortunately, I learned all my stuff by making a lot of stupid bonehead mistakes. So I just laugh sometimes. It's like, I don't even know how I'm here right now with all the dumb stuff I've done.
You and me both, and how much money have you lost, and how many times have it been like, oh my gosh, how could I have been that dumb? And you just say like, okay, what did I learn? Let me get back up. What did I learn? Let's go. Hopefully I won't be that dumb again and make that kind of mistake. And then I make that mistake again. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, how many
Oh,
times do
yeah.
I have to do this?
Oh, yeah. And also the investing things I've learned. Some of them I got one mistake. I was like, okay, I'm not doing that again. But most of them took, a couple, trips around the mountain to figure it out. So
Yep.
I did not learn everything once. Most of them were 2 and 3. And I was like, oh, you know what? I really need to stop doing that.
I need to stop doing. Me
I
too.
need to do this. And I'm not doing that anymore. So I think that's what makes people like us. It makes us good coaches and mentors and helping people. Because if I would have had someone like me or like you 30 years ago, I would have had success much sooner.
I
I would
agree.
not have made dumb mistakes. Like, I've had houses that were bulldozed because they had demolition orders, and I bought it. I was like, I don't have time to run time. I'm just going to buy it. Like, there's things I did back then I would never do today.
Yep. And that's, again, what you said, pay for somebody who's already made those mistakes, because paying that person, learning from mistakes, is way cheaper than making that mistake yourself. And you don't have to. There's no reason for you to do that.
But so many people are like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to pay for mentoring. It costs too much money. I'm going to figure it out. But if they would really just document everything they had to figure out and how long and what it took, it would have been so much cheaper to pay for someone back there.
Yep. Because people don't put the number on their time. So how many hours did it take you to do that? And I think people just forget about how long it takes, and time is 100% money, and you do not get your time back. Once you put it out there, it is gone.
That is a really, really, really good point. I have my ex, he lives in California, so we're in Colorado. So he'll be like, oh, I'm going to drive because I checked to see my daughter. I'm going to check airline tickets, and it's like $100 cheaper if I drive. I'm like, dude, but it's like an 18-hour drive both ways, staying in a hotel, buying food along the way, take the hour-and-a-half flight and just be here already. But so many people, they don't value their time. It's like, your time is the only thing that you can't buy more of.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
When you're out, you are done. And I tell people all the time, especially young people. So I'm like, listen, I know you're 20. And when you're in your 20s, you're 10 foot tall and you're bulletproof and your time doesn't have the value. But I'm going to tell you, when you hit 50 and then you hit 60, time has a whole new meaning.
It's like, I think you had a guy on who was 35 who was a millionaire by the time he was 20 something, and he seemed to get the value of time. And so it's just like, if we could just get those younger folks to understand time is real. It's a real limited quantity and commodity. So
it is.
Yeah,
I didn't value it. In my whole 20s, the whole entire decade, I partied. It was the 80s. I was all there, like, and then the 30s, I'm having kids, and then pretty soon I'm like, oh man, my back, and and I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to do this or this or this. I don't know. That's 10 hours I can't ever get back. Yeah, that's how I look at everything now. It's like, is that something I will be happy to do, or is that time I'm doing to make somebody else happy and I can't get that time back? Because you know what? My time is my most valuable asset. I always tell that to young people, especially like when people get in their late 30s, I think maybe they start to appreciate time. I think once you have kids too, you realize like, wow, they were just born and now they just graduated kindergarten. Like time goes fast all of a sudden, right?
Yes, yes.
You're just young and single and out there, you're like, oh, all the time in the world. It's like, but you don't.
Nope.
You think you do. Sounds like you do. But one day you look back and go, what the hell did you just do with the last 30 years?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So someone meets you, you give them your phone number, and like, what kind of words of advice would you give somebody? Like a young female, 30-ish, and she's like looking to step into some kind of a field. What type of advice would you might give her?
It depends on where she's going. So who do I think about the most are the women going into medicine. And when I talk to those people in medical school or thinking about going to medical school, I tell them, don't think this is the last thing you're ever going to do. Don't think it's the last thing you're ever going to want to do, because people that go into professions, the women that go into medicine, women that even go to law school, think that's their end. And I'm going to be here and keep doing this. And I just want everyone to be prepared that something else is going to come along. And even if it's just your heart changes and what you want to do. So that is the way you want to get some financial backing, some financial wherewithal. That's where I talk about the multiple streams of income, so that you can have the ability to pivot much easier and with a little bit less fear, at least financially.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm gonna give that for advice to people too. Is this is not the last thing you're ever gonna do, because it's not. You think it is. Medical school. I mean, all the money and the time and the expense, and then you're doing something else. So yeah. I like that because, even as a real estate investor, I've been investing forever, but now I'm off doing other things that I never imagined I would be doing. And it's like, okay, well, I'm 60. So I'm like, I'm in a new chapter.
Yep.
This is my 60. So in my 60s, I'm like, I'm wearing my hair. I'm doing what I want. All the things I didn't do, because I got my nose pierced, got my belly button pierced. It's like, all the things that professional women are supposed to do. It's like, you know what? Screw that. I'm 60. I can just tell people I'm eccentric. That's it. You reach a point where you can just claim old age.
No claiming old age. We're claiming our sovereignty. I can do whatever I freaking want. You can.
That's right.
It's just, we can do it.
I started off with my hair really bright pink, and I remember my first few people were like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "You're too old for that." I'm like, "Listen, I am not. I am going to be free and fun and sexy and 60 and all the things I've been thinking I want to do. I'm doing them all. I got a tattoo. I got all the stuff.
So we're
I
on the
don't
same
care
page.
what anybody thinks. I got all the stuff."
We're doing it. We're the same. Tattoos. My locks are new from, I started in 18 with my locks. It's like, we're just going. Let's just
Yeah,
do it.
that's it. So my hair gets brighter and more purple all the time.
I like it.
But it's
I
like,
like
listen,
it.
if someone doesn't take me serious as the way I look, they're just not my people. That's all.
100%.
We all have
Yep.
our tribe, and they may not be mine. So tell me, let's jump topics for a minute. Tell me what is your favorite band of all time?
Oh, my favorite band. I don't know if I have a favorite band. I'm going to say my favorite artist is Tracy Chapman.
I love her too. I have her on one of my playlists. I just listened to her music just like 2 or 3 days ago. It's like, man, I miss Tracy Chapman. I sat
Yeah.
down and listened to her. I have her on one of my playlists. She's great.
Yeah.
Her voice is beautiful.
I love it.
The song, Give Me One Reason. It's like, oh, I think that was my song for a decade.
I think my theme song is At This Point in My Life. Go listen to it. I can listen to that song. Some days it makes me cry. Some days it makes me really happy. It's got all the emotions in it for me.
I will. I don't know. I've been real nostalgic lately. I have a playlist of songs from like when I was in maybe my 30s, and all these songs, they all relate to something that was happening. And she did a couple songs in it, and I was like, oh, I love this girl. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is going to be an Asian food, and I don't know, I'm just going to call them all. It's like from Chinese food, sushi, Indian food. I like them all a lot.
Me too. Me too. I love Indian food. I never had Indian food in my entire life ever till I moved to Colorado. I got married 20 years ago and never had it. I don't know why, but in South Florida, I never noticed. And I ate that. I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I ever ate. It's so amazing.
It is good. It's really
What
good.
is your favorite part of the day? Like, what is your favorite time of the day or what's your favorite part of your whole day?
That's a great question. It's quiet, and I like my quiet time, that first morning quiet time. I'm usually awake by 5, do some meditation, and it's just quiet.
A lot of people like the mornings, it seems like. Okay, so I take notes on the things that you said. So this session is called Inside the Minds of Today's Millionaires. And I always like to interview people from all walks of life, all different types of businesses. And the hope is someone will hear you talk and go, oh, she just said the thing that I've been needing to hear. And so
Gotcha.
I like to kind of do a summary back and
Okay.
see if we got like a little bit of who Felecia Froe, MD, is.
Got it.
Urologist, awesome, and living in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. And you got into real estate. You were raised up in Indiana. You did school. You did sports. Dealt with all the racial stuff. And then 5 years into your business, you heard a little whisper that's like, "Hey, there's more coming. This is not the last thing that you're gonna do." And then you ended up getting into real estate. And you have commercial, you have single family homes, you did a grocery store, which is a full service, which is amazing. You have some buildings, you bought a building with a bunch of other doctors, and like right there, you're a real estate investor, probably didn't even realize it at that very moment. You're all about social impact investing, which I really like social impact investing. When you meet people that are new, you're like, hey, here's my number. You maybe help mentor them and always tell people this is not the last thing that you're ever going to do. And you like to listen to Tracy Chapman, eat a little sushi, have a nice quiet morning, and kind of get your day rocking. Is that a piece of what you are about?
You got me. That is true.
And moneywithmission.com. So is there any other way that you want people to be able to reach out to you? frozen. All right, Miss Felecia, you are froze, my girl. So, just everyone, thank you for being on the podcast today. Check me out at Dwanderful.com and get your free ebook. I'm also on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the places, all that. Oh, you froze there for a second. So I was asking
Yes.
if there. So the way people reach you is moneywithmission.com.
Yes.
Is there any
Yes.
other way that people can find you?
Yes. Probably the best is LinkedIn, and it's just Felecia Froe MD on LinkedIn. That's the social media platform I check the most, but I'm on all the other ones too.
All right, nice. Okay, so you guys, I know that you love her. She also has a podcast too. And so one of the things I always ask is I just ask you all to do me a favor. If you had fun today, if you laughed, if you learned anything, if you just enjoyed being a part of the conversation, I want you to subscribe to my podcast. I also want you to subscribe to Felicia's podcast. I want you to leave both of us a 5-star review and then share it with 2 people. And the more you share and like our podcast, the bigger they get, and the more that we can teach you. Because as I'm sure you will agree, podcasting is definitely a labor of love. And it's very time consuming, but we all do it because we want to help other people. And we really want to help you not do the things we did and learn fast. We just really want you to learn faster. I think that learning faster is kind of the deal. So it's important that you like, follow, subscribe, share, all the things like that. Okay, very last thing is I want you to leave us with a parting word of wisdom, but it can actually only just be one word.
I think it's going to be the word I've used before, and that's persist.
Oh, I like it. And what does persist mean to you?
Persist means I keep going. I have obstacles coming my way, and I figure out a way around over that obstacle to get to where I'm going.
I love it. All right, folks. So the word of the week is persist. And I feel kind of the same way. You just have to keep going. You can't give up, because nobody ever wins that gives up.
Nope. And the other thing is doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Just get back up. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I just really loved your heart. I love getting to know you. And I'm hoping somewhere down the road we can do some deals together or something.
I agree. It'll be fun.
I love your heart. I love your heart. All right, guys, everyone. I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. So, ciao. Thank you, Tracy. Felecia. I got Tracy Chapman's name in my head now. All right, everybody. Thank you.
All right.